Leah, I have you here for the interview because you are one of the top leaders in PlanNet Marketing. And I saw you on stage and I said, okay, I have to talk to you because I think you can help so many people if I ask you some questions. And my biggest question is, if I'm in PlanNet Marketing, what do I need to do to become successful? How do I become so successful like you? Tell me,
Yeah.
give me some insights.
So people ask this a lot, and people always get confused with where I started versus where I am now. So some people are looking at my year 6 and not my day 1. Now, I didn't start with a lot of followers on Instagram. I didn't start with, a social media presence. I also didn't start with any skills for this business. And I started at 0 in income. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you is this. People always say, why would somebody join me when they could join you? Now, ask yourself this question. Why did somebody join me on day 1? I was not the same person. I didn't have the results. I had no team and no income from this. So let me give you the 3 things that I had that built my business then, that still build it today. None of them are compensation plan. None of them are product based. They're things that you all have now and need to work on. Number 1 is belief. I believed in our company. I believed in what we sell. I believed in our compensation plan. And I believed that it worked because there were people at the top of it. So you have to believe, first off. Not believing has leaky energy. And when you've got leaky energy, people feel it. So that's the first thing that I sold, belief. Not the compensation plan, not the system. The next thing that I sold was excitement. I was so excited that I'd found this business model that was going to change my life, that was going to change their life, that was going to help that person. And that came through. I didn't have all of the answers. I didn't have a fancy system, a great upline, like some of you are saying, I don't have upline support. Me neither. I became the upline, but I was so excited about what I had that it got other people excited. I didn't have the answers to all of the questions or the skills or even a blueprint to get anyone to where we were going. But excitement sold, not features. And the last thing was vision. I had a vision for a better future for me. I had a vision for a life that didn't look like the one that I was in. And so they were what I sold at the beginning. They're still what I sell now. People don't care about the products, the systems, the features. They care about how you can help them with a solution to their problem. And so your only job as a network marketer is this. Become a professional problem solver. Stop making it about you. Start making it about them. And that was how I built my business then, and still build my business to this day. It's what I teach my team to do.
Cool. So let's get into practical. What are the action steps you would tell me if I would start now? What are the things I should do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I would ask you to write a list first off. And this is something that I'll do when somebody comes into my organization and is brand new. I do this for a number of reasons. The first one is I want you to get a win as quick as possible. I want to help you to write your first belief check. Why? If you help somebody to make $1, you buy at least 90 more days with that person, versus if you don't help them to make $1 in their first 90 days, the chance of them staying drops by 80%. My job is to help you win something quickly. And so what I do when you've come in is I help with any overwhelm. I reduce overwhelm. So I'd have you write your list. Now I'll make it even more simple for you. I'll give you 4 different categories for this list that you're going to write. Now I'll run through them with you. So I want you to think, Sasha, I want you to think about 5 people that you know that love to travel. Why have I put that as the first one? Sasha's now thinking about people in his network, and he's already got 5 names because I can see the look on his face with people that he knows that love to travel. So you're not sat racking your brains thinking of millions of people, just 5. 5 people that you think might want some extra income, Sasha. This might be a mum that's on maternity leave. Sasha's now going off and thinking about his wife's friends that maybe this could benefit, because I've given him a little bit of a mental pointer to go off and do that. 5 people that you know, a little bit social butterflies. They get invited everywhere. They've got a great friendship circle. Maybe they have already got a good social media following. Sasha's brain is now providing him with 5 people that he can think of. And then 5 people that you know that are entrepreneurial, Sasha. They might be business owners. They might have tried a couple of things online before. Sasha's got a list now there of 20 people that he can go off, and he's not going to do any of the work. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to say, Sasha, while you're doing all of your training and getting your head around everything works, what I'm going to help you do is get a message out to these 20 people. Now, the next thing I teach is, I said this when we recorded a podcast, but the next thing that I teach is not a script, it's language skill. So I would ask you to think about how well you know these people and categorize these people into temperatures for me. So super hot would be your sister, your mum, your best friend. Warm would be somebody that you work with, you know, a mum that you speak to quite often at school. And lukewarm would be maybe just a social media contact. And then I will help you with a little bit of the way you would send a message out to get that person, one thing, excited and on a Zoom call with me. I will do the rest.
Nice. So what you do is like you bring them directly to a Zoom call.
Yeah, get them into a Zoom with me. If they don't want to jump on a Zoom, put them in a chat. Let me just give them some, you know, excitement, vision, and belief about what we've got access to. I always liken prospecting to less is more. So I want to give breadcrumbs of information so that I can get the actual information in front of you so that you can make an informed decision. I think the number one thing people go wrong with is they word vomit. They tell everybody everything about all of the things and how everything works, and it scares people off. So less is more until you can get them, and with each bit of information you're building belief, you're building excitement, you're sharing a bit more vision. By the time they get to the Zoom call or a video, if that's what you want to send them, they want to watch it. They're not going to ghost you because you've not give it all away, and they're excited about the possibility of what they could do with it.
So that is great. What do I do if I don't have an upline?
What you do if you don't have an upline is the same thing that I did. People can rely on...
Because of course, everyone wants to have you as an upline and say, hey, let me just send it. I have someone, go to her. It's easy. But what would I do if I say like, yeah, I don't have this super joker in my team. Am I screwed, or what would you do if you? How did you do it? Because you didn't have you as an upline.
Yeah, I don't do, listen, I don't do all of the Zooms for everyone. That's the duplicatable process that runs through my organization. So they're taking it to somebody that is qualified and capable to do that Zoom. That'd be what happened if you signed up directly with me. It would also be what happened if you signed up on my 20th level under somebody else. So you're always going to be able to leverage something. Now, I didn't have anything to leverage. And one of the first things that I ever heard at one of my first events was somebody say, the person with the clicker gets paid quicker. So the person that can present at the front of the room is the one that's going to get paid the most money. Now, nobody taught me anything, so I am self-taught. I didn't have somebody to coach and, you know, train and tell me this was the way. But I could go to events, and this was what I did. I sat with my notebook at events and I watched the good presenters and I wrote down what they were saying, when they were saying it, when they would pause, and I studied it and I became the presenter. It's not, you can't blame the lack of upline on this. You have to upskill in the areas that you're lacking. Otherwise, you're just never going to get to where you want to get to. And so if you don't have anybody to leverage, you have to become the leverage.
Nice. Is there some information from the company also that you can use? Or would you say like, no, use more, if you don't have this, use more your own presentation skills? Or what would you say?
Yeah, we've got we have a standardized company presentation that's got all of the slides on it. So, you know, if you don't know how to present that yet, go to an event watch people present it, write your notes down, pick up what they're saying when they're saying it. This was what I did. We all work off one company presentation, but yes, if you don't know how to run through it, that's something that you're going to have to work on.
Nice. And what is the DMO someone should do to become successful in this business?
Yeah, the DMO that you should be doing is every single day I will do a minimum of 20 conversation starters. Now, this can be a conversation with somebody that I've spoken to before, somebody that's online, a new follower, and I'll walk you through the DMO. So number 1 is conversation starter. Number 2 is pivot. Now, I don't pivot right away. People start to feel like that's the only reason that I've messaged somebody. But a pivot would be an opportunity for me to say, hey, and I want you to write this word down, nonchalant. So I am so nonchalant with my pivot that it doesn't sound like anything other than, oh, Sasha, do you know what? I can't believe I've never asked you about this. Have you ever seen what I do? I've just seen that you're in Barcelona, and I thought, why have I never mentioned this to you? Because you could benefit from it. Continue talking about what I was talking about. Sasha's going to say one of two things. Yes, I've seen what you do, or no, I've got no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, little tiny bit of information to get him excited about going to the next part. So new conversation, pivot. Number 3 is exposure. Exposure would be me either jumping on a quick call with Sasha, me getting Sasha on a Zoom, me saying, Sasha, listen, I'm in Barcelona. Should we go for a coffee? Let's sit down. I'll run through it, whatever. So that's getting them some form of information, not just the, initial bit. And then from there, if you can do this, a 3-way with somebody. Now, 3-way people think that a 3-way is just with an upline. You can do a 3-way with a sideline or a cross line or a downline. Everyone's like, I've got no one in my upline. Go across then. Find somebody that you can leverage with sideways or down. Sometimes third-party validation, if Sasha wasn't ready to join, would help Sasha make a decision. And I'd say if Sasha wasn't ready to join, Sasha, do you know what? I know that we met in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago and I ran through that, but I was just sat with Luke, one of my directors, and he reminds me so much of you. And I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to loop these two in because I know that they'll get on. And then that's another exposure for me there. Sasha's going to hear from Luke, who's turned this into, a full-time business, and go, maybe there's some legs to this, because he wasn't relating with me because I'm female. Sometimes I'm going to have to leverage somewhere. And then number 5 on that is follow up. It took me 5 months to join. It took some of the best people in my team 2 years to join. But I was still visible. When I say follow up, I don't mean, hey, you ready to join? Hey, you ready to join? Hey, you ready to join every day, because they'll block you. But what I do mean is I was still visible with my business. I was still excited about it. I was still loud on social media. And I just used to check in with people and additionally build rapport and relationship with them, because people's circumstances change all the time. And had I have quit, or had I, stopped talking about it, the majority of my top leaders wouldn't be in my organization.
Great. Yeah. So I love it. These 5 steps, they are super valuable. And on the honesty, on most of the time, they are super simple, but also it takes a little bit of empathy really to not be salesy, because I think one of the biggest problems is like everyone is thinking about himself, and so
Yes.
he's like, hey, I have something for you because I benefit on this, which is like, are you more interested in making a sale or interesting of giving me a solution or something like that?
Yeah. And that's why it's about relating that to that person. It's, the pivot that I gave there was, I've just seen that you're in Barcelona. You probably could have earned some money back on that. It's about Sasha, his situation, and how it will benefit him. But too many people are, trying to hit the next rank, trying to make the next check. And when you switch it from a place of sales to a place of service for the other person, that's where all of this starts to compound. And look, it's simple what I'm saying. I make it sound simple, but doing it every day over a long period of time when people are saying no is not simple. And so it's about knowing that if you sow in the seeds and watering them, yes, not instantly, but at some point, if you're doing it right and from a place of service, you are going to get some results with this.
Now the interesting part comes for me is like, because you have literally like two offers. So the one offer is like, I can create my own travel agency, right?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I have this crazy business opportunity with this kind of lifestyle. What is the one thing you advise? Where should you focus on?
So I always say this: imagine opening a restaurant tomorrow and a hairdresser's tomorrow. And you have to run between the restaurant and make the burger, and then run to the hairdressers and cut the hair, and go back and then make the steak and run back and do that. You're going to burn the burgers and you're going to mess the hair up. Pick one and get good at it is always my response. Now, there's no right or wrong answer on where to focus. I have so many top travel bookers in my organization that do not focus on network marketing. It isn't their main priority. And I have so many top networkers in mine that do not, they book their own travel, and maybe a little bit for other people around them. And that's, pick one and get good at it. If you're trying to do two things at once, and a lot of you are still working jobs, by the way, so that's 3 plus raising the kids, 4 plus the relationship, 5. No wonder you feel overwhelmed. So I made a decision when I came in. Initially, by the way, everyone, I was here to book travel. So I've booked a lot of travel. I'm knowledgeable on the travel product, super knowledgeable. I've got a good client base, but I had residual bills. As in, my bills go out every single month. And so I wanted income that was guaranteed and coming in every single month. My personal goal was to get out of my job. And so in order to do that, I needed income that was coming in repeatedly. So I chose to focus on network marketing because that was what aligned with where I was going. And it's super important for you to do what aligns with what you want out of this. So you're never pushed into one or the other, but I can only train you on network marketing. That's my specialism.
Nice. Cool. I think that are great insights. That is a clear plan. So I think everyone gets a much better understanding that, hey, if I want to be a travel agent, I can do that, and
Yes.
it's fine. But if I want to really build this kind of lifestyle, I even should focus on this and talk more about this, because people are getting confused. If I do one day some travel, next day some this, even you come into the industry and say, hey, I love this travel opportunity, but if I see it from an entrepreneurial side, I said, yeah, I really want to build my business, and therefore I don't want to be another job. I really want to build a team and some residual income.
Yeah, definitely. And that was the thing with travel booking. Listen, I love it, but if I didn't do it one day or 1 month, that means nothing's coming in thereafter. And so when you look at it from a business owner perspective, the true measure of how well a business is doing is the income that's being generated and the team that's scaling it. And so that was where I chose to focus, but it's entirely personal preference.
Okay, great. Last thing is, I think you do a lot of challenges in your company, right?
Yeah.
So is there also a suggestion where you said, hey, do this kind of challenge because that helps you to get started? Or is there something you would say, is there a tip you have for someone?
So we do a lot of campaigns in my team. Campaigns are such a good way for you to get your team plugged into a movement and get everybody singing off the same hymn sheet. The company does them as well. You'll know about March Madness, which is something that they do annually for the entire company. So sometimes it's about creating little campaigns within your team and your organization. Now, I know some of you are watching this and thinking, oh, I've only got 2 people or I've only got 4 people. Like, we can't can't create a campaign. Can I tell you the very first campaign I ever did was in person in Manchester, and there were 3 people there. It doesn't matter where you have started. It matters where you are going and the conviction behind it. Those 3 people, 2 of them earn multiple 5 figures a month. The 3rd one isn't in the business and is losing over 10k a month because of her positioning. So it doesn't matter that at the minute your campaign might be small. It matters the direction of where your campaign is going and the conviction behind the campaign.
Nice. Great. Leah, thank you very much. If someone has more questions, how can they follow you? Tell me your Instagram handle.
My Instagram is just my full name and surname, so Leah Lockett.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think that was very valuable, and hope to see you soon. And yeah, thank you for these great insights.
Thanks for having me.